Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar on viewing the latest feature releases for Sage Intacct. My name is Ali Pakolnis, and I will help facilitate our webinar today. Before we get started, here are a few tips on using the Zoom platform so you can engage with our presenters and have the best experience possible. You should see a Zoom toolbar with icons for Ask a Question and Raise Your Hand. Please use the Ask a Question feature to submit a question or comment. If you need any assistance, click on the Raise Your Hand button and I will connect with you to help. We encourage you to ask questions throughout the presentation and we will do our best to answer them all. If we didn't answer your question, we will follow up with you personally after the presentation. Within 72 hours of the webinar, you will receive a link to download the slide deck and recorded presentation. Today's webinar does qualify for CPE credits. To receive your credits, you must actively respond to 3 out of the 5 polling questions and stay on for the duration of the webinar. If you have any difficulty answering the polling questions, please email elevatelearn@armaninollp.com with questions. And with that, I'd like to introduce you to our presenters, Todd Bowlesby and Jen Bowman.
Thanks, Allie. Hi, everybody. My name is Todd Bowlesby. I'm a senior manager here in our technology consulting practice. Jen?
Hi, Jen Bowman here, solution architect in our Sage Intacct practice.
And then we also have Jeremy Anderson and Alex Kim that will be helping us field your questions that you are free to put into the Q&A. All right, so today's learning objectives: explore the latest features and enhancements introduced in the new release, navigate the updated user interface to simplify onboarding and boost user adoption, identify multiple updates which you can implement to focus on automating repetitive tasks. And of course, remember, this does qualify for CPE. So today's agenda, a lot. We're going to talk about Sage Copilot, very exciting, company and admin, APAR, cash management, construction, time and expenses, Sage Intacct real estate, projects and grants, contracts, SaaS intelligence, Sage fixed assets management, general ledger inventory control, purchasing, revenue management, tax, payroll, Sage Intacct and Continental Utility, another interesting development, Sage Intacct data flow, Sage Intacct forms and operational workflows, Sage Intacct EMR Connect, ministry intelligence, platform services, and the user interface. So we'll start off with the Sage Copilot announcement. Sage just recently announced that they are introducing Sage Copilot, which is AI, and it's currently in the early adopter phase. They're going to have 2 initial capabilities. The first is variance analysis. So Copilot variance analysis provides insights into budget or prior period differences so business leaders can proactively investigate discrepancies and address spending concerns. Copilot notifications are designed to keep budget owners in the loop, whether it's a timely update or an on-demand review. You can drill into report insights to see exactly how your budget is doing, including detailed breakdowns and visualizations. And you can see right there, there's an example of Copilot on the side there. They're also going to introduce a lot more features over the next coming releases for sure. Here's some details on the Copilot variance analysis: get automated alerts, real-time variance tracking, data visualization, drill down analysis, detailed variance insights, and targeted data visibility. And by the way, everybody, some of the slides we're going to go through kind of quickly because we have a lot of content to cover here. You will, rest assured, you will get a copy of the PowerPoint after today's meeting. So the second Copilot feature for early adopter is search. So introducing the early adopter release of, so AI-powered search. Semantic search offers the following benefits: natural language understanding. So Copilot understands the nuances of Sage Intacct terminology and can interpret complex queries. Increased efficiency, significantly reduces search time and the need for multiple searches by delivering more relevant results. Intelligent recommendations. So it provides suggestions for related topics and articles to expand your knowledge. When your company is enabled to use search help with Copilot, you'll see a new search help option in the help and support menu. By selecting that, you'll then see, you'll be able to enter a query using natural language in the search box, and then Copilot will respond with answers and provide links to additional information there. And there's an example there of that. All right, I'm going to switch it over or hand it over to Jen.
Super. In company and administration, now this is so helpful. If you have new employees or if you yourself are looking to join the community or the Sage University, you need to know your customer number or customer ID. Now that's going to be visible within the Sage Intacct instance just by navigating to Company Setup Configuration Company. Next. And there's new languages that have been included. So you can change your company or personal language settings to these following options. And the two new ones that have been added are French, Canadian, and Spanish. And permissions. Later on, we'll talk about the new reconciliation reports that have been added. With these reports are permissions that you can enable in the permissions section. One's for accounts payable, for vendor reconciliation, accounts receivable, for customer reconciliation. In addition, in time and expenses, there are some different granular levels of permissions for electronic receipts. In accounts payable, first, we're going to talk about a quick reminder first that American Express vendor payments that is being retired. The effective date is 12/31 of this year. However, they do recommend that you process your last payments via this service by the 20th of December, please. And then in the taxes solution, the AP automation is now has support within that within the taxes solution to automatically utilize the AI and machine learning to input or recommend, I guess, different tax data to be automatically entered within those transactions. So the transactions has tax implications option is selected when the predicted location has an assigned tax solution and is derived from that predicted location. And the inclusive tax option is selected when the previous bill for the vendor had inclusive tax. So as you are continuing to utilize the AP automation feature, the machine learning will help the predictions to be more accurate. And then this idea came from you, so definitely encourage you to continue to be utilizing and involved in the community. You can send automatic vendor payment notifications to more recipients. Now you're able to enable a secondary email address to have AP payment remittance emails sent to two different email addresses now at this point. And below that are the instructions on how you can set that up in the accounts payable setup configuration. If you have that admin privilege to be able to set that up. And then also you would go into accounts payable all vendors and then edit each vendor to be able to enable that automatic payment notification. Okay. Reconciliation of payments and credits to bills. So there's a now vendor reconciliation report, talked about adding that permission within the permissions capabilities. And this report also has another one that we'll talk about a little bit later for AR as well, for the customer reconciliation. So these reports help to answer what credits and payments have been applied to a given bill, where was that credit applied, which transactions share a specified match sequence, and then maybe those outstanding transactions that remain partially matched or not matched at all. So now when you run that report, you'll set some parameters on the match sequence labeling. And then when you run the report and take a look at that report, you can easily identify through those match sequences that match amongst those transactions, which credits and payments line up with which bills. Okay. Pay bills enhancements. This is an early adopter program. From the main pay bills page, you can now load up to 5,000 bills and pay bills at one time. You can sort and filter through that entire list by bill number, date, due date. You can also drill down to credit details by selecting the credit amount value for a bill in the list of bills to pay. And then in the apply credit screen, you can sort and filter by a bunch of different parameters listed here. And then in the bill details screen, you can filter by different parameters as well. Ease of use, leading us to our polling question. Todd?
Woohoo! You can now send automatic vendor payment notifications to a secondary email address. Is that true or is that false? And virtually everyone got it correct. It is absolutely true. Great job. All right, so now we're going to jump over to Sage Intacct, and we're going to look at the AP reconciliation that Jen just talked about. So first of all, you go to accounts payable configuration, and under here towards the very bottom here is, right here, vendor reconciliation. Check this box, enable vendor reconciliation, and then you would set up an AP match sequence. When you set that sequence up, you want to make sure that it's alpha, not numeric, and that you start with a small letter A, because that actually makes a difference. It'll signify a small letter means it hasn't been matched. A big capital letter means it's been matched. So there is a reason to set those up that way. So that's how you'd set that up in there. And then from there, you would go to your roles, and whoops, hit the wrong button there. And now it's punishing me for it. Yes, there we go. All right, and then I'm going to jump into subscriptions here under AP, and down here towards the bottom, we've got the vendor reconciliation report that you can run. So you want to make sure that's enabled. And then from there, you can go into vendor reconciliation and grab, this is basically just a big filter. Got to grab an appropriate location for my case. You can choose whether you want unmatched, partially matched, or fully matched. If you don't select anything, you're just going to get them all. Start and end dates, things like that. If I view this guy here, then I can see, for example, this guy right here. So we can see this bill was paid by this payment, this bill by this, and this bill by this. All right. Let's jump back over here. And next. Jen, back to you.
Sounds good. We're going to switch gears to accounts receivable. Okay.
I only clicked on it 7 times.
Oh,
Sometimes it doesn't want to respond.
It has its mind of its own.
That's
All
right.
right, super. So now we're going to go to the reconciliation report for customers. So it works the same method, way that Todd just described in the AP. It's going to be the same exact type of blocking and tackling in the customer under accounts receivable. And so again, you're going to answer the questions about, what credits and payments have been applied to a given invoice, where was that credit applied, and then which transactions share the specified match sequence. Also, which remain partially matched or not matched at all. So when you run that report, much in the same way as Todd ran the AP report, then you'll be able to identify and quickly line up your invoices with their credits and payments. And those 2 enhancements, they just come with, out of the box with the Sage Intacct subscription. So nothing additional in terms of fees for subscription there. And then in addition to this one as well, and enhancements to accounts receivable statements. There is a new field called pre-entry balance. It does not automatically come or has not been automatically added onto the statement templates. So you will need to follow the directions that are in the release notes or in the help center to add those on, but it will give you the total due balance of all of the outstanding invoices for your customers so that they don't have to run that math calculation by themselves anymore. But you do need to utilize your templates, utilize the Intacct plugin that allows you to expose that pre-entry balance field and add that onto your statements. If you need help, you can always reach out to your customer account manager, support, et cetera, for assistance. And then the customer payment services, there are some different integrations that are being sunset by Sage. So the Authorize.net and the PayPal plugins are being sunset. There are lots of different options that are available to you. We encourage you to check out the Sage Intacct Marketplace. And when you do receive the slide deck, all of these little orange hyperlinks here will take you to the information that you need in order to learn more about these different interfaces.
Yeah, and I would just add there, Jen, that there's also Sage AR automation that takes credit cards and gives your customers a portal. It also provides collections functionality. So I would look at that as well.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. That solution starts at about $5,000 annual subscription, and it is being a little bit more widely adopted by clients as of late. So we do have a number of different clients that are taking advantage of that, for sure. All right, turning gears to cash management enhancements. So now, so you can restrict GL account for bank accounts and credit card accounts. This will help you to choose GL accounts that have not been set as the default AP or AR account, assisting with the generation of NACHA compliant ACH payment files in Intacct using the bank file payment menu. That will really help you to improve efficiency and security of the payment files that you then download to then upload to your bank. And below gives you some directions on how that works. So you can just follow that step by step to be able to enable that.
Perfect.
Okay.
On to construction. Now you can print time and materials and expense billing details for project contracts directly from project contract invoices without creating a separate report. They appear together for streamlined reporting and use on printed invoices. You can then sort, filter, and group all billed expenses with links for easy navigation to review the original cost entry. A new configuration option also allows you to zip all supporting documents automatically and attach to the customer invoices when you send an email. So pretty cool stuff there. And this is what it looks like. So this is a picture or a screenshot of an order entry invoice generated out of construction module. And you'll see the summary billing details tab there, which we are currently on in this screenshot, and all the related expense items. Also, they've added scope and schedule to a project. So now you can add the scope and schedule to a project so that everyone involved in the project is aware of those important details and stays on schedule. So they added a new scope and schedule section, which helps you or lets you define things like scope, exclusions, inclusions, and terms, and various start and completion dates. And then you've got the track project change orders and change requests assigned to a project or project contract. So what they've done is they've created a new change management tab on either the project contract and or the project itself. So you can go into one spot on that project contract or that project itself and look at the change management tab and see all of the project change orders and change requests very easily. These are the details relating to that. Improvements for invoices in Sage Intacct paperless. I'm pretty sure there's probably not a lot of people here that have Sage Intacct paperless. It's a pretty new module, but they have made a few improvements if you have it. A couple of pop-outs, invoice descriptions, the ability to approve on the approve invoice page. They have a pop-out, and then they've also released paperless OCR, which is a combination of smart OCR and AI to work together, to identify key invoice data and make the invoice entry and coding as efficient as possible. And then likely not a lot of folks that have Sage Field Operations as well. If you do, again, we're going to hand out this deck, and you can also reach out to your client account manager if you need further information. They've made various and sundry enhancements to SFO, Sage Field Operations, related to business intelligence, and also related to like the mobile app, as you can see here. And then WIP management, the WIP management tool that came out a little bit ago to general availability, they've basically just changed the names of a whole bunch of fields and added a few new fields as well. PM forecast, cost of completion, PM forecast, cost at completion, PM forecast percent complete, PM forecast contract value, and then they updated a few fields as well. So this deck will explain like what each one is and shows, but you'll see here, kind of the highlighted fields here where they've, enhanced this. And there's another screenshot where they show the various areas where they've enhanced. And they tell you kind of like what the variance there, what the range is for each field. Enhancements to Sage Construction Payroll, Sage Intacct Construction Payroll. They upgraded the import utility, enhanced validation routines, selection process for field mapping is simpler, drag and drop import files, validate import data more easily using a split screen, delete rows during import or download. The records of changes have been made during the import process. And then where available, an import field can include multiple values in the same field. On the checks page, check generation is now faster. They're looking at 25% reduced time over the previous duration. When created using the standard check stub generation process, those stubs include employer address, 401k split into pre-tax and post-tax amounts, and also combined single printable check advice. Notice PDF is no longer generated. And then they've enhanced the check modification process that you can override pay modifiers that are associated with multiple distributions on the same workday and prevent removal of pay modifier overrides during the recalculation process. Enhancements to Sage Construction Management. Basically, they've got enhancements to labor time cards, includes options for selecting the right data source for the project's timesheet fields, and you can specify construction management labor codes in Sage Intacct and select the required time types for Sage Intacct. Equipment time cards. Now you can specify the linking preferences for Sage Intacct and map Sage Construction Management equipment codes to Sage Intacct items. And then in terms of miscellaneous expenses, you can specify whether the posting rules are selected according to the payment type, such as cash or MasterCard, or according to the expense type, such as food or fuel for the employee and the vendor. You can post fields to Sage Intacct if they're over a 25 limit. They kind of found a problem with that previously with the limitation there. When synchronizing linked employees, you can now post employee IDs to Sage Intacct. You can now review Sage Intacct payments that are over 180 days old. The posting process stops if a project or prime contract number exceeds the maximum number of 20 characters. For other fields such as customers and estimates, those posting process depend on the posting preferences. Terms used in Sage Construction Management and Sage Intacct for prime contract types are linked. Billing items are sent to Sage Intacct using the terms selected in the company profile of the customer on the prime contract. And then the project cost budget and prime contract sync to Sage Intacct separately to avoid deleting the entire project and syncing again if the prime contract syncs incorrectly. You can now resync projects, cost budgets, and prime contracts when Sage Construction Management gets updated with new values and update them after they're posted. And then you can now post prime invoices and stored materials. You can post or repost prime contract information. And when posting and importing vendors, payment terms are included. Then there are several new reports. There's a work in progress, PM forecast, analytics, construction management cost budget commitments, gross cost at completion versus ERP job to date costs, detailed summary with ERP job to date costs, financial summary using Sage Construction Management prime invoice totals and ERP job to date costs. And then there's a new BI summary dashboard for retainage so that you've got cross project prime and sub invoice retainage overview, as well as prime and sub invoice retainage overview. Now, on to our next polling question number 2. You can now generate what type of bank file in cash management? Is that an XML, a BAI, a NACHA, or a BAI2? You got this. Whenever these polling questions come up, I always got the Jeopardy tune in my mind when they're waiting for the people to submit their answers. And the survey says, all right, so roughly half of you got it correct. It is NACHA. The correct answer is NACHA. That is the new bank type of file that you can generate in cash management. All righty, moving on to our demo here. I'm going to go over here and jump over here. All right, so I'm going to show you the add the scope and schedule to a project. So first of all, you may already be familiar in contracts and a project contract. If I pull one up here, on the project contract itself, I can come under additional information here, and you've got scope and schedule, internal reference, external reference. So this is nothing new, just showing you kind of what has been traditionally available, as well as on the project contract line items themselves, right? So under here, under additional, on each project line, you can also have scope and schedule. And so now the new thing they've added is on the actual jobs or the actual projects themselves. When I delve into a project, I also now have the scope and schedule available here where I can track things like exclusions, inclusions, terms, various and sundry dates, that sort of stuff. All right. Oops, look over here. All right, time and expenses. So now, in terms of Sage Intelligent Time, you can track time quickly and accurately with time clocks. Now, I can't tell you how many times I've been asked, can you do start, stop, clock in, clock out? And for years, I've had to say no, and now I finally get to say yes. So I am super excited about this. So, of course, it helps precise time tracking and compliance. But now you basically, the gist of this is you've got clock in and clock out capabilities, which then compiles the entries into a timesheet for submission and approval. So that's super exciting. These are the details, of course, probably, kind of speaks for itself. It's pretty accurate. Now, I realize that the release, the R4 release came out last Friday. This actually won't be available, so don't go searching for it until the end of November. But it will be coming soon, and it is considered part of this release. Also, and this is coming out in mid-December, you can define standard and project rates for billing. So now you can establish clear and consistent billing rates per employee, employee group, project, or project group using rate cards. Rate cards create clear and consistent pricing structures to make billing more efficient. So they streamline the process, reducing the time and effort needed to negotiate rates for individual services. And rate cards are highly flexible and can be customized per person, per task, or at the project level. So that's actually also super exciting. And then we also have automate your employee expenses. So Sage excited to announce a new automated workflow for submitting your employee expenses. Save time and ensure accuracy by emailing your employee expense receipts from any device directly to Sage Intacct. Your employees can now email their travel or other receipts and use AI to assist in coding them. Machine learning remembers the changes for future receipts, making the whole employee expense report process even easier. A new list links electronic receipts emailed by the employee, where you can add receipts to an expense report and associate the full amount with an expense type, or split the receipt across multiple expense types. Depending on your permissions, you can also remove the receipt from the employee here. And this is what it looks like. Users with staff expense permissions can create staff expenses and pull in emailed employee receipts. And this is what the list of the electronic receipts looks like. Then you can check those and then pull those into an actual employee expense report. Moving on into Sage Intacct Real Estate. I realize there's not a huge amount of people probably using this as well currently. Location dimension supports up to 100 custom fields now. Basically, they're having a problem when you tried to sync back into Sage Intacct. There would be an issue there because there wasn't enough fields supported. So they've increased it now to support up to 100 custom fields. And then the allotment of custom fields is shared with the entity dimensions. So you can add up to 100 custom fields combined for the two dimensions being the location dimension as well as the entity dimension. Other enhancements, get to your property management workflows faster and more easily. So you can open Sage Intacct Real Estate from the main applications menu. So you don't have to go to a separate application. And then you can manage lease renewals directly from Sage Intacct Real Estate. So simplify your renewal process with automated reminders and streamline workflows, ensuring that you never miss a lease renewal. The new functionality allows you to handle complex lease terms and agreements, making it easier to extend or modify leases while maintaining full visibility into your property portfolio. I want to be clear here. When we're talking about leases, we're talking about if you were renting to someone and you're managing the leases to lease rental property. So this has to do with property management. This does not have to do with leases where you're leasing equipment, for example, and you're interested in maybe ASC 842 functionality. That's another module. Sage Intacct does have that as well. Configure late fees across all overdue payments. So you can use the new all delinquent payments option to configure late fees more precisely across all overdue payments. This improvement provides greater flexibility in managing tenant delinquency, ensuring that late fees are applied consistently and according to your specific policies. Ensure accurate rent calculations for tenants with percentage rent agreements. Use this new cumulative calculation option to add sales volume through the year, automatically accumulating the total and applying the appropriate percentage rent steps based on the accumulated amount. This ensures accurate rent calculations for tenants with percentage rent agreements, reducing the need for manual adjustments and improving billing accuracy. Gain deeper insights into your operations with enhanced reports. So now we've got a new lease abstract report. Includes more detailed information about your leases, offering a comprehensive view of key lease terms, payment schedules, and clauses. Projected revenue. This report now provides better visibility into your project-based revenue streams, offers detailed breakdowns of revenue across projects, helping you track performance and forecast future earnings with precision. Jen, over to you.
Projects and grants. Interesting. Use retainage without.
I don't know why your little face is on there. Sorry about that.
Oh,
so yes, we're still in construction. My apologies. But thanks for being willing to jump in there, Jen.
Sure.
You're a real team player.
It was an interesting topic. Okay.
You're like, what is this? Use retainage without a construction subscription. This is kind of cool because it has nothing to do with construction, actually. It's in projects and grants now. If you want to track retainage without necessarily all the bells and whistles of construction, so if you've got project costing and billing, you can now leverage retainage features in both AP and AR. For those of you who don't know, retainage, also known as retention, is a portion of the contract price that is intentionally withheld until the project is substantially complete. This practice ensures that customers or vendors fulfill their obligations and complete the project to the agreed upon standards. Retainage works only with accrual-based companies, does not work with cash and cash accrual. And you cannot use retainage with contract subscription. So keep those 2 points in mind. Improved syncing with Sage Intacct PSA. So projects and grants, Sage has improved. I don't know if you guys are aware, if you've been keeping track, Sage Intacct PSA is professional services automation. So this just has improved syncing capability between Sage Intacct and Sage Intacct PSA, and then which allows changes to projects and tasks syncing in real time. So data for these records always shown the same in both Intacct and PSA. Moving on into contracts, service periods. This is actually kind of cool. So Sage Intacct is, they announced that they now have added service periods to contracts. So service period dates now automatically populate and seamlessly flow from contracts to invoice generation so that the customers can see exactly what period they're being billed for. So there's 2 new fields that are now available on contract billing schedule entries and contract usage entries: service period date, start date, and service period end date. They automatically populate, like we talked about, from the contract line and usage records. They can be edited through the workflow for added flexibility. Existing contract lines and usage rates will not have the default service period date fields populated. However, you can easily add missing dates during invoice generation. The service period dates carry through to the invoice so customers can see the associated periods. Yeah, so you can edit and view and edit service period dates for a billing schedule, and this is what it looks like. Actually, I'm going to show a demo of this. So on a contract line in the preview billing, but I'll show you that real time here. You can see the service period and start and end date on each billing that you see on the schedule there. So there's, and then this is on the billing schedule itself. And then the service period on the usage data when you bring it in, when you're tagging the usage data or importing the usage data or bringing it in through an API. And then those show up on the usage billing as well. And then there's, when you're generating invoices, now you can click on an area there. There's a new area called override service period dates. And you can keep the existing service period dates without making changes. You can add service period dates for entries that do not currently have them. And then you can override or replace all existing service period dates with new ones. And this is showing you the service period when you're reviewing the invoice through the billing process through contracts. And then this is actually showing on the invoice itself, the contract invoice, drilling into the details on the line, and you can see the service period start and end dates there as well. And then this is how you can add them to the template. So if you're leveraging the Word templates to create the documents, you can now include those service start and service end dates on the Word templates. In contracts, you can also clear and deliver in bulk and more. So manage contracts more efficiently from a centralized view using the following actions on the Manage Schedules page: clear revenue recognition, clear expense recognition, deliver contract lines. So now you can manually clear or deliver in bulk across multiple contracts, eliminating the need to access each contract individually. When you initiate these actions, Sage Intacct creates a bulk action run record and runs the process offline. To streamline your workflow further, Sage also made the following updates to the Manage Schedules page: added filters for the user-defined dimensions, expanded selection options in the results table. For the post action, added the expense line number column to the results table, and outdated results are automatically hidden when switching actions. So this is what the clear revenue or expense recognition. So notice there in the little box there, that's got the clear action there. Allows you to clear those and resets the status of the selected rows. This guy is showing the deliver functionality there. Same area, manage schedules, just different selection on the action drop down there. And then user-defined dimensions. So this is showing you the added support for the user-defined dimensions on the managed schedules page. And then this is the new selection options that I just described. So just showing you a screenshot of that. So now in the revenue schedules, you can click on that little arrow. It'll drop down and give you the select all on this page, select all or clear selected. And then this is the expense line number that they talked about adding to the table in the clear and delivery in bulk. And then the auto hide outdated results. Previously, when you selected preview for an action and on the managed schedules page and then switched to a different action, the old results table remained visible until you selected preview again. Now, when you change actions, the previous result table automatically hides, ensuring that outdated or irrelevant results are not displayed. So it's less confusing, in other words. So here's sync renewal templates to contracts. When you edit or renewal or evergreen template, you now have the option to sync your updates to scheduled renewals associated with that template. Previously, changes to renewal or evergreen template didn't automatically update your scheduled renewals. If you wanted to make an adjustment, you had to edit each contract line individually. With this enhancement, you can push updates from the template to associated contracts, saving time and improving efficiency. And these are just some details related to that. So on to our polling question number 3. In the new time clocks functionality in Sage Intelligent Time, where do the default location, entity department, and class populate from? Do they populate from the employee record, the project record, transaction allocations, or either the employee or project record? And there's that Jeopardy music playing in my head again. All right, so most of you got that correct. Either the employee or project record. Great job. Okay, on to the next portion, next demo piece here. I'm gonna jump over, back over here. So I'm gonna show you the contract service periods. So if I come over here and I go to a list of contracts, and let me just go down to my entity level here. I apologize for that. There we go. And now when I scroll down to the bottom here, I'm going to pull up this contract here. Come on, little buddy. Thank you. All right. And so down here, on this guy right here, if I drill into this line and I scroll down to view schedule, we're going to see right there, I've got the service period end date. And this one happens to be a quarterly billed one. So it's showing for each quarterly bill, the service period start and end date there. If I hit the edit button, I have the ability to modify these on the fly. Next piece here, contract usage. If I hit the add button here, so when you're bringing in contract usage, here's our service period start and end date. So you can bring those in. And if we, oops, go down to here. And if we look at, I don't think I have any, yeah, I'm trying to populate this. Like they said, it doesn't actually pull in, but if we look at, if we drill into contract usage line item, and we go to the usage tab here, I apologize, I don't have date in here, but you can see that's also going to show the start and end dates for each of the usage things there. And then when we go to generate invoice, you can see now I've got the override service period dates here, and I can click on this and override the service period dates, override missing dates only, or override everything, all the dates. And then finally, when we look at a contract invoice, And we come in here under the window shade, you're going to see we've got the service period start and end date right here. All righty. SaaS intelligence. Full debooks are automatically recategorized as churn. That's pretty self-explanatory there. You can see here, the image below shows the debook class of reclassified to churn and the churn amount on the dashboard. So it shows up here when they reclassify the churn there. Improved discount handling and order entry. So provide customers order level discounts that are presented by discount items on order entry transactions. So now that's discount item coincides with new, recovered, or churn, and the line is overridden to acquired. And this is an example this is multiple lanes, increased processing speed. So this is pretty cool because they kind of give this swim lane thing. So during transaction processing, customers are sorted into 3 processing lanes, making processing up to 3 times faster. All subscription lines stay with the customer, ensuring the line sequence remains in order. Doesn't affect your workflow, but you can see the processing groups in the queue. So it speeds up processing time there. Moving on to Sage Fixed Assets Management. You can now override posting dates when you're doing manual. The thing I love about Sage Fixed Assets Management, which is the new Fixed Assets Management module, is that you can actually set it up for auto posting. But if you go in and manually post, you can now override the posting date there. And that's all that. I'm going to show that actually in just a second. Transaction allocations for assets. So now you can use, for those of you aware of transaction allocations, you can set those up to use on, well, transactions like AP bills, AR invoices, GL, journal entries, things like that to automatically allocate across dimensions. And so now you can do that in Sage Fixed Assets Management. So the example there is now you can automatically allocate 50% of a depreciation expense to the marketing department and the remaining 50% to the human resources department. So pretty cool functionality there. And that's transaction allocations. I thought I removed this. This is actually not coming out here. So we're going to remove this. For some reason they pulled it. Maybe they're having an issue. So we'll talk about those maybe next time. Other updates in fixed assets management. You can add notes now to fixed assets. So you can see next major service due at 40,000 miles there. So that's pretty cool. And then they have enhanced lists. They're basically using the new enhanced lists functionality where they're basically going to replace all the lists in Sage Intacct with these new enhanced lists. And then they're available in bulk action runs and asset group pages. Other updates, import service updates, single workspace. So Sage streamlined the import process by combining fields into a single sheet. Assets are still assigned a unique header, next exit, new exit functionality. So when you push the exit, that's been improved for more control. So when you select exit, you can choose between 2 options, exit and save process or exit and clear progress. And there's that screenshot of that showing that. And on to our next polling question. Allocations are no longer supported in Sage Fixed Assets Management. True or false? Yay, the vast majority of you got it correct. It is false. Allocations are now available in Sage Fixed Assets Management. Now, for a quick demo, go over to my Fixed Assets Management area here, go to Post Depreciation. And when I choose something and hit the post depreciation button, you can see now you can override the posting date to a new posting date of your choice. And then if we go over to my single fixed asset in here and go into edit, you can now see that you have ability to utilize the transaction allocations here, and we have the ability to put in notes on a fixed asset. All righty. Okay, Jen, I'm not kidding this time. It's for real. It's you.
It's me, General Ledger. All right. There is streamlined setup for GL outlier detection. The directions on how to enable that are below. And so once you configure, then when your organization meets the minimum requirements to build a data model, you can set up detection rules and use the feature within 1 to 2 days. Data of export. They have added this required intermediary account, and it helps to facilitate the transfer of balances in the general ledger entries CSV file. That value entered must be numeric and have the same length as the account number defined. It can't be the same as the existing GL account number, and you can modify that before you start the export. All right, in inventory. There's improved entity level inventory valuation reporting. I've been waiting for that. So prior, the top level included all same currency location details in the summary, but not in the detail. Now, with the new release, when you generate a top level valuation report, the summary and detail sections will now report on the same values. But do note that when you're utilizing multi-currency, the report detail and summary sections only include transactions specific to the selected location. In fulfillment, so the Sage Intacct inventory automation, that is the barcoding feature that allows you to utilize handhelds to scan in and scan out your inventory items. And now it is in full use with the fulfillment feature that was released maybe 2 or 3 releases ago. So you'll have true multi-step order fulfillment process with barcode scanning. So you can use the pick, pack, and ship processes now in fulfillment. You can use all the steps separately, or you can keep it simple as a single step process. And then also you can print carrier labels for UPS, FedEx, and USPS from your mobile scanners during the packing and shipping step. Purchasing. There's continued enhancements to the AP Automation Purchasing Early Adopter Program. The link there allows you to sign up for that if you haven't already. You do need to have already implemented purchasing, which is a module that comes with the core environment, but does take some effort to set up. But the new features include drill down link to matching documents, system default transactions. So system default purchasing transactions are view only. You can change the transaction type before you enter details and post them. Support for standard workflows. So the purchasing automation now supports companies that use a standard transaction workflow. And then top level mapping is no longer required. So this is especially useful when your transactions are entered at the entity level and you don't need a top level configuration. The last piece here, this line level matching change. So if you want to utilize line level matching with the AP Automation Purchasing Early Adopter Program, do talk to your account manager, because this option does require an extra step for us to be able to turn that on for you. In revenue management, and revenue management, as you know, is an additional module, but there are some enhancements to the managed revenue schedules page. So there's some new selection options. You can select all on this page, select all, or clear selected. And then another nice feature is this hiding of outdated results that Todd was talking about in the real estate section. So when you change actions, the previous filtered schedules table automatically hides. So that ensures that outdated or irrelevant results are not displayed. Tax. So tax enhancements, you can set tax detail filing state as reporting or not reporting. You can also override tax amounts and details in purchasing and order entry to address some unusual situations. And when you do need some more granular control, so you can override the tax schedule in transaction line items, allowing you to calculate taxes for transactions that may cross tax jurisdictions or have some other issues like not having a corresponding tax schedule map. There are also some links too that you'll receive now that 1099 season is upon us on how to run the report, how to verify your vendor setup, printing forms, ordering tax forms, and then in addition, some information about the e-file plugin that's provided by Tax Bandits. So you would need to sign up for a Tax Bandits subscription, but you can do that through your Intacct environment if you have the permissions, I guess, to adjust your subscriptions. And then for Canadian tax, we'll just sort of gloss over that. No problem. Because in the interest of time, you can read through those updates. Early adopter for tax submission for custom tax solutions. So again, this applies to that taxes or multi-tax solution, which is an additional subscription component. And the early adopter program will be open soon. So it's not quite available yet. So we might as well, I guess, move on to the next slide in the interest of time. Hit payroll.
Yep, we're running up against time here.
All
right, so enhancements in payroll powered by ADP, streamlined integration. They've got a new dashboard available, improved error reporting, and then they have a new relationship with an organization called Continental Utility, and that's for utilities. And then Sage Intacct data flow, you can now set up workflow approvals utilizing that. And then operational Intacct forms and operational workflows, validate federal ID numbers and easily reproduce fillable PDF forms. EMR Connect, yeah, there's just some enhancements there. Works with most eliminated files. Set up multiple email addresses, choose whether or not to automatically summarize GL entries. Single digit dates can now be processed and notifications now warn you if the general ledger is out of balance. Ministry intelligence. I don't think we have any clients utilizing that. If you do, please just refer to the PowerPoint deck here. Over to you, Jen.
And this is just an extension of the real estate conversation about the 100 custom fields. They're available between the entity and location dimension. And then more language options for common labels. So now you can choose from the language, options that we talked about previously when selecting different customizations that you need for creating other applications with platform services. And then there's an option to enable or deactivate the detached link in related record views. So that will automatically be selected, and then you can simply go in and deselect the enable detach if that's a choice that you need to make. And then importing and exporting application tokens for translation. Again, you have the several languages and locales from which to choose, including the new French, Canadian, and Spanish that are in beta. But it allows you to import and export the application tokens that you need in order to translate. User interface, and these changes we don't need to go over them entirely, but they're available to you to review.
Perfect. Thanks, Jen. Sage Intacct inventory automation now integrates with fulfillment. True or false? Nice work, Jen, by the way. Whoosh. Sage Intacct is putting out so much functionality in each release now. Jen and I are hard pressed to get this all in an hour.
That is for sure.
Which is good news.
It is really exciting developments. Lots of great usability, extensibility with field operations, construction,
Yeah.
the AP automation. Love it. The AR automation as well. Not to be missed.
So yes, the majority of you got it correct. Sage Intacct inventory automation now integrates with fulfillment. That is true. True. All right. Now, thank you very much. Remember that Armanino led Intacct virtual classes. There's a link there for Armanino Academy. And if you have any additional questions, reach out to Jeremy or Alex. They would be happy to field more of those questions for you. And thank you so much for attending today.